Hi, Pranay. Welcome to Beauty by the Numbers. We're so glad to have you here today and hear about kind of your experience in the retail and beauty space. Do you want to kind of start off by explaining to us a little bit about yourself and how you kind of got into the industry?
Thank you for having me, Emily. Hi there again. My name is Pranay. I am the former head of analytics at Charlotte Tilbury. I started my career as an engineer, transitioned into a data warehouse engineer, working for many retailers like Walmart, Target. Then Sainsbury happened, and most recently, after working with the short stint with a startup, I joined Charlotte Tilbury, which was in the luxury space. And yeah, I'm the former head. I've left the business now, but happy to provide insights of during my time at the business.
Yeah, perfect. Obviously, such a big brand. Do you want to kind of start off by set the scene for me? Like, what does a day in the life look like for someone in such a large beauty brand?
That's that, that's an incredible question because it varies a lot. Each day is not the same. However, I would say the at Charlotte Tilbury, we were divided into 4 different teams
Yeah,
as a data team. So there's a data engineering team, customer insights team, um, analytics team, which I was heading, and then you had the data science team as well.
yeah,
The first part of the week was formally to understand what is the key focus of each of the teams, getting around the table to understand what are we focusing this week and
yeah,
what have we learned from past week in general. And
yeah,
also we spend a lot of time, the first half of the week was formally to get the retail sales in. So if you understand Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Space,
yeah,
it's a retail brand with different business models. So you have a wholesale model, and you sell the goods to distributors, distributor sells the goods to the customers, and you need a way to really reconcile that data to understand how are you performing as your retail sales. We spend a lot of time aggregating, collecting that data, working with the commercial teams across the business, across different geographies. And the latter part of the week was primarily around working with the stakeholders at regular or irregular cadence, and
yeah,
also spend a lot of time investing on analytical projects, be it supply chain, supporting different departments, FP&A, promotions, uh, primarily the omni-channel cycles of retail business, and really supporting the departments in different aspects with data, with different techniques
yeah.
during the week.
It's very, very busy then.
Yeah, really, really busy, really exciting to be there.
What was your kind of favorite part of that? Like, what was your favorite part of the week? Was it kind of the beginning, or was it talking to the stakeholders, or
I would say I really enjoyed the stakeholder engagement part of it because it really helps me understand how they operate as a business
yeah,
and what are the key decisions that they are driving. And often not, it's a truth, like sometimes a lot of data lies in silos and people are executing off them. However, if
yeah,
together, there could be a lot of synergy between the data being used and a lot of decisions being driven
yeah,
from that data. So a key part of my role was how do I bring synergy in terms of data between across departments,
yeah,
and really build that trust for my business leaders. So working as an analytics and insight partner to
yeah,
help businesses, help different departments across different geographies to really trust one source of data and build
yeah.
that single source of truth to really drive the business.
I bet it was kind of great seeing the sort of outcome of your work as well. Once you'd sort of managed to kind of get that synergy and stuff, I think that must have been sort of great to see as well when you're sort of speaking to the stakeholders as well. You can kind of see the outcome of all the hard work that you put in, which must have been nice.
Yeah, yeah, really great. Like there were few key reports, few key dashboards that really needed automation, and that really saves on the cost of individual analyst playing within the team.
Yeah.
And also it drives efficiency. And
Mhm.
thirdly, it drives trust. Also, it builds trust from the leadership top down on the data. So everybody is reporting off a single source of data.
Yeah.
It's a journey. It's a journey in all. So I wouldn't say we achieved everything, but in my time during the business, I did spend a lot of time understanding the pain points of our stakeholders and
Yeah.
how can we make it better. And we were progressing through that as the brand, as any retail brand would, if they were to expand into different geographies, would do that to understand
Yeah.
their create and customer and understand their customers better.
No, of course, of course. And what other kind of ways, like what were the most exciting ways that you were using data or have used
Well,
data throughout your career?
yeah. In my career, I feel like I've used data to really understand the customer behavior in the
Yeah.
past. So understanding the cohorts was really is a significant way to understand your customers. Also, I've spent a lot of time understanding the finance data. So really spending a lot
Yeah.
of time. How is the business performance against financials, against budgets, against forecast? What have we learned this week? Running the business performance call across the business. What can we do better than last week? What can we do
Yeah.
better than last quarter? How do we compare it against last year?
Yeah.
And how scaling as a business has been really a key factor in understanding the finance data. In terms of liaising with different departments in the business,
Yeah.
uh, uh, we during my time in the business, I spent some time understanding the marketing mix model, which the
Yeah.
data science team was really building upon, getting it in-house, which was really fabulous to see how the targeting campaigns can really make a difference in your
Yeah.
can create an uplift in revenue, and
Mm.
also how you could optimize on cost and make sure you are getting a definite return on investment on the channels you are making investment on.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing I think I was also excited about during my time was the personalized recommendations. So how you could really transform the experience of your customer based on personal recommendations, and how do you go about testing that? How it's a fabulous way of A/B testing, understanding your um, uh, shortening up your customer journeys, making your customers get to the desired goals
Yeah.
in place. That was a really fabulous frameworks put in place to really do that, and I kind of enjoyed that as well.
When it comes to the sort of recommended products, obviously because Charlotte Tilbury is obviously a relatively premium brand, or not necessarily Charlotte Tilbury, sort of any brand that does this. When you, for example, say if I was to order food, this is going to sound like a really random question, but if I was to order food, when you get to the recommendations at the bottom of sort of like a checkout, it will then reduce the price, which gives the customer then an incentive to obviously go and buy more. When you're obviously shopping on a beauty brand, so they maintain that kind of sort of premium image. When you get to the checkout, are they just sort of recommending products to you? Is that their way of sort of increasing revenue, or are they discounted, or is there like a deal? How do they sort of go about that?
So I guess what I saw was, if you accept the cookies of the page, the algorithm behind the scenes, the ML would study the behavior of the customers, segregate them into
Oh,
different
wow.
buckets, and really lead you to a PDP products that the algorithm thinks you would really buy, and
Yeah,
it might cater to your needs. So it's a way of recommending you the best product available for your skin
that's fab.
skin tone. And there is also, they were providing I think one of the product managers was really working on the skin analysis tool finder. So if you're not finding your skin tone and you want to really not go into the store, but you want to understand your shade and what is the right product for you. There were a skin analysis finder, which
Yeah,
really
wow.
helps you get to get your skin tone and then being recommended upon what you need to buy.
Yeah, it's crazy how much it can do, really, isn't it? It's just insane. Because I know that obviously you can go on the app and try to, because I actually wear flawless filter, so I can sort of I've done that and used that. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I didn't know about the sort of cookies, so that's interesting as well. How are you creating the sort of best end-to-end kind of experience for the customer when they first come on the website or they first come into store? How are you doing that using data?
Yeah, so essentially, I would say when it comes to customer experience,
Yeah,
all the retailers are really focused on your NPS score. So they want to make sure your customer experience is really great. Your brand, and it also leads to quite a high brand awareness score as well. But in terms of, I think, customer experience, we were trying to stitch back the data points from the point in time the customer places an order, especially if I talk about e-commerce sales. So, and from that point in time the customer places an order to the time
yeah,
logistics involved, to the time the product is delivered to the customer, and if the customer sends back a notification saying they have received it. So connecting all those data points was, I think there was an effort during my time to connect those data points together,
yeah,
to see every customer gets delivered what they have asked for, what they
yeah.
have put in the checkout funnel. Secondly, I guess a lot of effort was really put to, um, I would say, really understand the customer journeys, how they are really going through. Are their customers falling out of the journeys because they couldn't find
Yeah.
the PP? So a lot of effort spent on understanding their customer journeys. Um, I could
What
think
was sort of
about, sorry.
what was the words if it, say if I it, what was the kind of response if a customer wasn't to sort of complete the journey? How would you sort of go about that? Because say if I was to go onto a website, I really wanted to buy, I don't know, say the magic cream, really liked it, tried to buy it, and then realized actually no, it's probably too expensive. And I then came off the website. What would happen then? What would be your way of sort of trying to get that customer to come back?
So we have to understand, like, Charlotte Tilbury is in the beauty space. If you categorize, there are products which are mass produced, which are
Yeah,
in supermarkets. They have their own audience. But
yeah,
if you think about luxury, they have their own niche market,
yeah,
and people go based on the popularity of the product, and
yeah,
also, if you're talking about magic cream, Charlotte Tilbury it's their favorite selling SKUs.
yeah,
It's a really upselling product, and people normally tend to really look forward to buying that product from the site. In terms of people are churning from the website, there would be campaigns to for those customers to really get on their site and
yeah,
use those campaigns, the discount vouchers, as well as during my time they rolled on subscriptions. So if
yeah.
you're subscribed, they do give you heavy discounts to
Yeah.
buy the products.
Okay.
And yeah, those are a few ways that they're trying to keep their customers, but they have a really high retention because let's not forget, Charlotte
It,
Tilbury is a very popular
yeah,
brand
it's very
in the
popular.
UK. It's really popular. The products are fabulous. Their product efficacies are really making a difference,
Yeah,
and bringing and the motto for the company is to bring the best of yourself to the workplace, to wherever you go.
yeah,
So and I believe in their mission and vision, and it has really succeeded in getting as far as it can be during such a short span of time.
yeah. No, definitely. I think this is quite a sort of broad opinion, but I think if a brand like Charlotte Tilbury, they've obviously got the process right, the products are good quality and everything else, then that data can just be used to kind of manage the customer experience rather than less time being spent on kind of
Yeah,
losing the customers. And the data around that, I think if they've obviously got that first part of the process right, then maybe it can be a lot
yeah.
easier in
And
terms of the other bit.
additionally, a lot of projects were also in different teams. It was not entirely in my team, but I know of few projects that were structured to understand the call center data. So in case you place a call, you haven't received a product. So to identify if that's not reoccurring, there is
Yeah,
a project to really understand what kind of calls are really getting, what kind of complaints are we getting from our customer, how do we make it better, how do
yeah,
we spread the magic uh, of a luxury brand
yeah,
to their niche audience. So it's a really data driven business,
yeah.
and really customer centric as well, I would say.
No, that's so good to hear. You had another point as well. What was your I think you had another point, did you?
So I was just pointing out to, I think they had magic master classes. This was to
I
improve
was about to
the,
say.
yeah. So what really was the idea behind was people should know how to make use of the products in and know the efficacy in the best possible way. So
Yeah.
there are tutorial classes, some run by Charlotte Tilbury herself, to really educate the people around how to use the products to your skin tone and to your, I would say, bespoke to your skin.
Yeah.
And I would say they did a lot of to augment that. They implemented skin analysis tool as well as personalized skincare routine as well. So you could possibly check about the products as well on the site if you really
Yeah.
want to understand your skin better and how can you make the best use of the product.
And personalization is one of the main sort of things that most sort of big beauty retail brands need to really be doing to stay at the top of the market, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I think especially with the sort of the the consumers that we have in today's sort of world, everyone wants things that are suited to them quickly, and it's difficult for beauty brands and retail brands to keep up with all that different sort of data and stuff. But yeah, personalization is definitely a way to make sure that you're staying at the top, which is obviously good to hear that you guys you guys have been doing it. And are there any sort of challenges? Obviously, that relates a little bit, but are there any sort of challenges you see the beauty space facing over the next few years? Because that's probably one of them, isn't it? Trying to keep up with all the different demands of the consumer now that we've become sort of more of a consumer sort of driven market a little
Yeah,
bit.
I agree. So if you imagine beauty space like if you're logging onto your website and you become an account holder with Charlotte Tilbury knows more, or any beauty space, Estee Lauder, if you're Estee Lauder, you know your customers. However, that
Yeah.
isn't the case if you are shopping in a brick and mortar store. So say
Mhm.
that you went to Sephora and bought a Charlotte Tilbury cream, it's hard to know who the customers was. So I
Yeah.
think that's one of the challenges which they often come across, like how do we collect data about our customers? How do we improvise their experience in store?
Mm.
A lot of effort had been put up to really have a QR code, provide loyalty coupons. So if you scan a QR code, it would really help you. It would really send a date about your data to the retailer, and they
Yeah.
want to understand your needs and provide you the best, serve you in a way in the best possible manner,
Yeah.
and provide you the upcoming products, new products, what has changed, and how can a new cream help you, or for your how can you use to treat your skin? What kind of products can you use to treat your skin?
Yeah. No, definitely.
Um, that's one challenge I see. Yeah. Uh, I also see challenges with expansion. Sorry, you were saying something.
No, no, it's
Were you
okay. I
saying
sort of lost
something?
you. No, 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 you go ahead. I sort of lost you a little bit. Take it back.
All right. Okay. So secondly, I would say expansion. So it's more a brand like Charlotte Tilbury Beauty is still
Yeah.
expanding into different geographies and really catering to the market globally. So
Mhm.
it's a really good place to be in. But essentially, what happens is it's impossible to create your own flagship stores everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think people are working on it, and building your presence all over the world is one of the major challenges for beauty brands as well.
Yeah. No,
Thirdly,
definitely.
I feel like, sorry, yeah.
No, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Thirdly, I feel like building building tools in-house versus outsourcing it to agency. That's also one
Yeah.
of the challenges which really beauty brand faces.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of beauty brands are spending on building data science models in-house to
Yeah.
really address their needs and customize their needs in the way which could help them in a quicker, agile way, rather than waiting for working with different agencies to do that for them.
Yeah. No, of course, of course. And I think on your first point about how can they track the data of the customers obviously coming into store, the Charlotte Tilbury sort of have a loyalty program or anything like that where they can,
They,
do you know
they
what I mean?
do they do have a loyalty program. However, during my time at the business, they were also coming up with a different loyalty program as well, and it had quite significant benefits in terms of cost, in terms of discounts, in terms of promotions.
Yeah.
So yeah, being a customized loyalty member program really helps to get the right products.
Do you think so? Obviously, with Charlotte Tilbury, they're sort of in the more luxury side of the beauty space. With sort of loyalty programs and things like that, sometimes I suppose it could be potentially quite difficult for them to maintain a sort of luxury brand name if they were offering lots of sort of discounts and loyalty programs. So how did they sort of manage that?
Um, so I wasn't close enough to the program, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So I wouldn't be able to comment on it, but I know for sure they were working together to
Yeah,
build that loyalty program to help their customers in a better way.
no, that's fine. And how sort of obviously from what you said today, I can tell obviously they're a very sort of data driven organization. Sort of how data driven sort of were they in terms of as a whole?
I would say uh, there is a huge appetite for data across any retailer I have worked in the past.
Yeah, of
Um, Everybody wants to be data led, data driven,
course.
but it's a bare truth that a lot of data still performs in silos, and
Yeah,
it takes years to build the foundations, to get the data right, to get the data
mhm,
accurate. And we did do during my time in the business, I educated a lot of stakeholders in the business to how can they use the data better.
yeah,
And building those reports have really helped, and I'm pretty sure is still a propelling mission in the business to really improve the data literacy across the board, and
yeah,
more and more people can really jump out of their spreadsheets
mhm,
and use their BI tool um, as their primary source of truth. So I would say usually data driven, amazing leadership, really good brand to work for, and yeah, a lot of appetite to make data-driven decisions at the end.
No, that's so good to hear, because I think you're definitely right. It's a journey that a lot of retail or beauty brands have started in the last few years, and there's definitely a long way to go. But I think, yeah, Charlotte Tilbury is obviously an example of how well they've sort of taken onto that journey and how well it's come along since then, because it's definitely a brand that we all know and sort of love very much. But thank you so much for taking the time to come on to this interview series today. It's been lovely chatting with you and hearing a little bit more about your experience, and hopefully we can obviously share that all with our audience and our community as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and always a pleasure.